I stood at the station, clutching the strap of my bag so tightly my knuckles turned white. The air smelled of metal and smoke, the sound of brakes screeching echoing off the platform walls. His train screeched to a halt in front of me, and my heart leapt. The doors hissed open and passengers spilled out, faces weary, eyes down, some running, some dragging suitcases. I searched for him, eyes darting from one figure to the next, waiting for that familiar step, that familiar smile. The crowd thinned. A woman carried her child past me. A man in a suit adjusted his tie. The doors stayed open a moment longer, the warning chime buzzing in my ears. I craned my neck, desperate. Then the doors closed. The train shuddered, rolling away down the tracks. He never got off. My chest sank as the platform emptied. The space beside me grew colder, heavier. I kept staring at the tracks as if he'd suddenly appear, as if he'd been left behind in one of the cars, as if the train would screech back just to deliver him to me. But he wasn't there. He wasn't anywhere. Behind me, an announcement echoed about the next arrival. People shuffled past, annoyed I was blocking the way, but I couldn't move. My legs locked. My heart whispered something is wrong. I pulled out my phone and dialed his number, my fingers trembling. Straight to voicemail. Again. The same silence. I whispered under my breath, "Where are you?" But the platform gave no answer. Only the sound of another train pulling in, carrying strangers whose faces I didn't recognize. And all I could do was wait, my chest hollow, as if the man I came for had never even existed. The station lights buzzed overhead, casting everything in a pale artificial glow. I stayed rooted to the same spot, my eyes fixed on the tracks as if staring long enough would pull him out of thin air. People came and went in waves, trains arriving and leaving, laughter and footsteps echoing through the hall, but none of it mattered. My world had shrunk to a single question. Why didn't he step off that train? I replayed our last call in my head word for word. His voice had been steady, even warm. "I'll see you tomorrow. Meet me at the station. Don't be late." He had even laughed when I said I'd get there early. He promised me. He promised. And yet here I was, early and waiting, while his promise evaporated into the cold air. Minutes bled into hours. I called again. Still voicemail. I texted him. "Where are you? Did you miss the stop? Are you okay?" The three dots never appeared. My chest tightened with every unanswered message. Around me, people hugged reunions, lovers kissed, families carried suitcases together. Everyone else had someone to walk away with. Everyone but me. Finally, I went to the ticket counter. "Excuse me," I asked, voice shaking. "That train that just came in, was there a problem?" The clerk barely looked up, chewing gum, typing something into her computer. "Train arrived on time, no issues." Her indifference made my stomach twist. "But my friend, he didn't get off." She shrugged. "Then he wasn't on it." I pressed harder. "No, he was. He told me he'd be." "Could you check again?" She sighed, rolling her eyes. "Look, if he didn't get off, maybe he missed it. Happens all the time." Next. I walked away, my throat burning. Missed it? No. He was never late, never careless. He would never let me stand alone like this without a reason. Something was wrong. When I got home, my parents were in the kitchen. I told them everything, expecting concern. My mom frowned slightly but then said, "Maybe you imagined the timing wrong." My dad muttered, "You worry too much. He'll call." Their calmness was unbearable. Didn't they hear me? Didn't they see my hands shaking? I slammed my phone on the table. "He's not answering. He's gone." But they only exchanged a glance, the kind of glance parents give when they think their child is overreacting. That night I couldn't eat. I sat in my room with the phone in my hand, staring at the dark screen, praying it would light up. Every buzz from outside made me jump. Every sound of a car on the street sent me running to the window. But the hours dragged, and the silence grew heavier. The next morning I returned to the station. I stood on the same spot where I had waited, the same yellow line marking the edge of the platform. I closed my eyes, trying to imagine him stepping off, smiling, saying my name. But when I opened them, all I saw was another train full of strangers. Something gnawed at me, something I couldn't shake. The way the clerk brushed me off. The way my parents seemed too quick to dismiss it. The way people avoided my eyes when I asked if they'd seen him. It wasn't just absence, it was erasure, like the world was trying to convince me he had never been there in the first place. But I remembered. I remembered the sound of his laugh through the phone. I remembered the way he promised me, his voice steady and sure. I remembered how real it felt. No one could make me believe otherwise. So I waited again, gripping the strap of my bag, my chest hollow but my mind burning with a single truth. He was supposed to come back. And until I knew why he hadn't, I wouldn't leave. The days blurred together. Every morning I returned to the station, standing on the same spot, staring at the tracks until my legs went numb. People began to notice me. The same man waiting, scanning every train, never leaving with anyone. Some looked at me with pity, others with suspicion. I didn't care. I wasn't there for them. I was there for him. I started asking strangers, "Did you see him?" Tall, dark jacket, brown hair. They shook their heads, hurried away. I asked conductors too. One frowned at me. "Kid, I've been on that line 20 years. I'd remember if someone matching your description was there." I pressed harder. Checked the records. He had a ticket. The conductor only gave me a tired look. No one by that name was on the train. His certainty hit me like a brick. No ticket. No record. Impossible. I had spoken to him the night before, heard the whistle of the train in the background. He told me he was on it. Back home, things grew stranger. I searched my phone for our messages. Threads we had shared for months, late-night calls, endless texts, they were gone. Deleted. When I confronted my parents, my father shook his head. "You've been obsessing over nothing. There was never anyone." My mother touched my arm softly, almost rehearsed. "Sweetheart, maybe you dreamt it. Sometimes loneliness makes the mind create what it needs." Her words stabbed me. Loneliness? No. I hadn't created him. He was real. Flesh and blood. But their faces told me something else. Not disbelief, avoidance. Like they knew more than they dared to say. And my sister's smirk didn't help. One evening she whispered, almost taunting, "Still waiting for your ghost?" before walking off. My chest burned. Ghost. Why would she call him that unless she knew something about where he had gone? The more I dug, the more walls I hit. His name was missing from school records, from social media, from every place I swore we had been together. Our photos were gone, faces blurred, or I was standing alone where he should have been. It was as if someone had carefully erased him, piece by piece, leaving only my memory behind. I began writing everything down. His laugh, the way he tapped his foot when he was nervous, the scar on his hand from falling off his bike, the exact words he said before boarding the train. "Don't be late, I'll see you soon." I filled page after page, clinging to those fragments before they could slip away, before the world could take them from me too. But the more I remembered, the more dangerous it felt. I caught my father watching me too closely, my mother whispering on the phone at night, my sister shutting her door the second I walked down the hall. Once I overheard them in the kitchen. My mother's voice shook. "He won't let it go." My father's reply was sharper. "Then we'll make him." My hands went cold around the doorway. Make me? What did that mean? I realized then it wasn't an accident. His absence wasn't random. They knew. They all knew why he hadn't stepped off that train, why his name had vanished, why everyone pretended he was never real. And the worst part was they wanted me to forget him too. But I couldn't. His face lived behind my eyelids every time I closed my eyes. His voice echoed in my head when the room was quiet. He wasn't gone, not to me. And if they thought they could erase him completely, they underestimated the one person who refused to let go. I went back to the station that night. The platform was empty, the wind cutting cold across the tracks. I stood there, alone under the buzzing lights, and whispered his name into the darkness. For a moment I swore I heard it whispered back. And in that moment I knew. I wasn't losing my mind. I was getting closer to the truth. The night I finally broke was colder than any before. The station was nearly deserted, only the sound of a vending machine humming and the faint rattle of a distant train. I sat on the bench gripping my notebook, the one filled with every detail I could remember about him. My fingers traced over his name written at the top of the first page, shaky but bold. They wanted me to forget, but these pages proved he had existed. He had to. I heard footsteps behind me. I turned and saw my father. He stood stiff, his coat collar pulled up, his eyes dark. "You're still here," he said, not surprised, almost resigned. I swallowed hard. "I'm not leaving until I know the truth." He sighed, stepping closer, lowering his voice. "You need to stop. You're tearing yourself apart." His words were meant to sound caring, but I saw it, the flicker of fear in his eyes. "What did you do to him?" I asked. My voice cracked, but I didn't look away. Before he could answer, my mother appeared, her face pale. "Please don't," she whispered. My father shot her a glance sharp enough to cut glass. But the damage was done. She'd confirmed it. There was something to tell. "Tell me," I demanded, my chest burning. My father's jaw tightened. Then slowly he said, "He wasn't supposed to be here. He wasn't safe." The word spun inside me. My mother added, her voice breaking, "We thought we were protecting you. If you let go, you'll heal. But if you keep holding on, you'll never be free." Protecting me? By erasing him? By acting like he never lived? My throat closed. My sister's laugh broke the silence. She stepped out from the shadows, arms folded. "He was never meant to last. People like him disappear. You're the only fool who can't accept it." Her words were poison, and yet they told me everything. He hadn't vanished on his own. They had chosen to erase him. Whether it was fear, shame, or something darker, they had buried his existence like a secret they swore would never see light. I opened the notebook and began reading aloud, my voice echoing across the platform. His jokes, his promises, the way he hummed when nervous, the exact words he said before that train. "Don't be late, I'll see you soon." Each word was a blade slicing through their lies. My mother sobbed, covering her face. My father barked, "Enough!" But I kept reading louder, fiercer, until my voice shook the silence they had built. The crowd from the arriving train spilled onto the platform. Strangers slowed, staring at us. My father froze, realizing eyes were on him. My sister hissed, "Stop embarrassing yourself." But I didn't stop. I held the notebook high. "You can erase records, delete photos, lie to my face, but you can't take him from me. He was real. And you know it." The weight of my words settled over them. My father's shoulders slumped, his anger collapsing into something smaller. My mother whispered, "I'm sorry," so softly I almost missed it. My sister turned away, her smirk gone. The train doors closed, and the rumble faded into the distance. The platform grew quiet again. My family stood broken in their silence, exposed by the truth they could no longer hide. I sat back down, notebook on my lap, my heart still pounding. For the first time, I didn't feel insane. I didn't feel alone. He lived in these pages, in my memory, in every breath I refused to let them steal. As the night deepened, I looked at the empty tracks and whispered, "I'm still waiting for you." But this time there was no desperation, only defiance. Because even if the world chose to erase him, I would keep waiting, keep remembering, keep carrying him forward. And in that quiet defiance, I felt him beside me again, not stepping off a train, not returning from the shadows, but alive in the one place they could never touch, me.